At the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian, we believe in the power of the arts, storytelling, and education, just like Mississippi Public Broadcasting. MPB connects communities across the state with quality programs that inform, inspire, and engage. Their audience is loyal and appreciative of businesses that support public broadcasting, which makes underwriting on MPB a smart investment. Join us in supporting MPB. Learn more at mpbfoundation.org.
Hatred
MPB comes from the Community Foundation for Mississippi, connecting donors, community.
Going about their business, care of us.
So the legacy of Medgar Evers is an understanding of our own humanity and of our own responsibility of seeing that in other people.
He is written out of history. He's just not included as Malcolm and Martin. To me, it's the 3 M's, and Medgar's right up there at the lead.
Everlasting, Life and Legacy of Medgar Evers. Watch now on MPB Passport. Visit mpbonline.org for more. Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Okie dokie, folks. Welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and me and Java and the folks here at MPB, including the live stream producers, are going to be talking about nothing but gardening. So if you've got some things on your mind, it is a live program, so give us a call. I mean, this is a chance to yak with somebody who's, I tell it like I would be talking to my mother or myself. And I'm not a great gardener. I'm a garden expert. By the way, Java, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Felder. How are you doing today,
I'm
man?
doing pretty good. I have a question for you. Tell me that say that I've got a 5-year-old granddaughter without actually saying I've got a 5-year-old granddaughter.
Oh, exactly. The manicures and probably the pedicures as well.
No. She's just painting my fingernails. I can't tell if it's blue or purple or whatever, but she's 5. And you know what? I think I'm a better man because I let my granddaughter paint my fingernails.
Oh yeah, great. No, there's a oh man, I wish I could remember the guy's name. He's on social media and he's getting kind of famous because he lets his daughter during the football games. He watches the football games and his daughter just kind of bedazzles him, and it's just the cutest thing for all the girl dads out there.
So while he's watching the ball game, she's doing his nails and stuff.
Oh, and much more, and he just lets her do it.
Good. Well, good on him. Good on him. Man, it got cold this past week in Jackson. I know it's been really cold up in North Mississippi. We've had some scares in South Mississippi, but I mean, it finally got below freezing in Jackson, and I finally lost my castor beans and stuff. So, how's your garden looking?
Dismal.
Well, I brought some plants for you. I've got purple kale.
Okay.
And I've got in front of this camera here, I got some of the blue kale, the lacinato. And these are the kind of things y'all put them out. You and Krista put them out in the garden. They can take below 0.
Well, that's the kind of things that we're looking for because we planted spring, summery stuff, and it's out of here.
Yeah. Well, this is the time of year to just. It's really not that much you can plant this. A lot of people plant stuff like lettuce and carrots and beets and cabbage and all like that. But the truth is, in the wintertime, most of these plants we think of as cool season, like broccoli, cabbages, things like that. They don't like freezing weather. They don't like hot weather, but they also don't like freezing weather. They can tolerate them, but they do best in cool weather. So a lot of people plant stuff, and if we get a freeze or something, a really hard freeze, it could take about kale and collards will not freeze. Garlic will not freeze. I planted garlic this past week, and it's already up. I mean, I planted it like last weekend. It's already sprouting up. But these kales, I know you were raised in the city. Did you ever have a pot of collard greens?
Yeah.
Well, these are, kale is related to collards. It's prettier, it's frillier, but it's a superfood. I mean, it is an absolute superfood, nutrition and all. And what you do is you just break off the lower leaves, I stripped the little midrib off because it's sticking your, in your throat. But I just cook them like you would any kind of green. So as they get bigger and bigger and bigger, these little blue ones are going to get waist high.
Oh, wow.
Get awful pretty. But anyway, y'all put them out there. If you don't want to eat them, that's fine because your kids may not be into greens. I know how kids are.
I mean, green right now, especially with big Java, little Java, it's green peas, and that's about it.
Well, okay. Well, has he tried it with macaroni and cheese with green peas in it?
He's not a macaroni and cheese guy. That's the girls.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay. Anyway, we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff, and do have the lines open if you'd like to give us a call here at MPB. The toll-free number is 1-877-MPB-RING, and we'll talk about whatever you want. I brought some pictures today. And number one picture, those of you who are on live stream may want to wonder why you're not on live stream right now. Explain it, Java.
Well, it's kind of funny to explain it now, but we're usually live 9 in the morning, and we're not live right now. But if you're watching us, it's because we've posted the video later on.
In other words, if you tuned in at 9 on live stream, we'll see you later.
There you go, basically.
Otherwise, do the old school thing and turn on your radio or go to your laptop and listen to it at mpbonline.org.
There it is.
But anyway, this first picture I had is an outdoor heater. And I don't have one like this. I've got like a long skinny one over one of my decks. This really comes in handy right now because you want to get outside, because, it just feels stuffy inside with all this rain and all. And it's good to have a little portable heater. I've got an electric one that is, it only heats up what it touches. So anyway, it's a cool little thing. But I want to brag a little bit. Let's throw up picture number 2. For those who are listening, this is two of my favorite people. Java, you know their names?
Oh, man, that's Malcolm White, Carol Palmer, Deep South Dining.
The Deep South Dining. They had me on their program this past week, and I guess you can see it live stream too, right?
Yeah, it's up on YouTube as well. Deep South Dining is one of our live stream shows, and it was a great show. I made the joke that because you were on the show, people in the chat started asking gardening questions. I mean, anytime you pop up, it's like, no, we ain't worried about no food right now. Well, how do I deal with my lacinatas?
Well, we talked. By the way, this blue stuff is the lacinato.
Well, the people wanted to know.
Lacinato. Anyway, I just want to look at Malcolm and I go so far back when I did my first book, which was a companion to then it was ETV. Mississippi Public Broadcasting. It was a television program. We did my book signing at his place, Howland Mouse, and I cooked chili for people who came. I had a big old pot of chili I cooked for my first ever book signing. And Carol used to have Everyday Gourmet in Jackson. And she used to have, before you could buy herb plants at garden centers, I mean, you could not get herbs, hard to believe now, at garden centers. She used to have this huge sale out in the parking lot, and she donated the proceeds to Mount Hill Gardens. But the first 2 years of proceeds, she donated all to the Ag Museum Herb Garden. And we're talking about mid-1980s. So,
okay.
The three of us go way, way, way back. I know about the growing stuff. They know about the cooking stuff. We all agree on the eating stuff. Anyway, just want to kick around and say, I can't tell if there's a caller on the line or it's just a number. Are they calling it up?
Well, Kevin Farrell, he's back there getting the call together. Yeah. Okay.
Well, while we're doing that, let me show you one other picture. I know I'm kind of abusing folks who are just listening, but let me show this next picture, number 3. Here's something that the folks at Jazz in Marketing came up with. It's a Christmas card with me as your
Muppet.
As a Muppet in my pickup truck, all Christmas-ed up.
Yeah, Jason and the marketing, the comms team kind of put that together. That's pretty. I mean, that's you. Even with the, what's that, like an angel or on the front hood ornament?
No, that's my silver eagle. I've had that silver eagle for around I'm going to say close to 1 million miles.
Oh man,
I've had it on like 5 vehicles. It's a silver eagle hood ornament. But by the way, in case you're wondering, that Santa-looking hat, no, that's a naughty elf hat. Anyway, just want to kick around a few ideas, folks who are listening and want to talk about gardening. Give us a call. It's toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING. But I came up with a thought for the day, Java.
What you got?
I hope I didn't do this last week.
I hope not.
Knowledge is knowing a tomato is a berry. Did I mention that last week?
No, but you said it on Deep South, so you can say it today.
Knowledge is knowing a tomato is a berry. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. Philosophy is pondering, does that mean ketchup is a tomato smoothie? I don't know. Bada-boom. Anyway, horticulturalist Felder Rushing, Java Chapman. We're going to take a quick break and come back. Got the lines wide open if you want to give us a call this kind of a dreary December day, but it's not freezing. We've got camellias blooming. Got early paper white daffodils starting to bloom. We've got lettuces that are starting to get sweet in the garden. So berries, all sorts of natural ornaments. We can talk about all that when we come back here at Mississippi Public Broadcasting. So stick with us, folks. We'll be right back.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Rush. As a blues man, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. If you support Mississippi music and their local programming, donate now, right now, and become a member today, not tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doesn't matter how big or small, but we prefer big. Thank you very much.
Mississippi is a place of deep roots where every story matters and every voice can be heard. At MPB, we stand with our local communities, bringing you the voices of those who shape our state through local programming that reflects our culture across small towns to big cities, from the Delta to the coast. We tell the stories that define us, from the music that carries our voices to the leaders who inspire change. MPB brings you the heart of Mississippi, celebrating Mississippi one story at a time. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Everlasting, the Legacy Podcast, is a brand new companion podcast to the MPB documentary Everlasting, the life and legacy of Medgar Evers. Join me, Rita Brent, as we dive deeper into the story with exclusive interviews and conversations about the enduring legacy of Medgar Evers. Everlasting, the Legacy Podcast, available on the MPB app or wherever you get your podcasts, with new episodes every other week. MPB, your stories, our mission.
All right, folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and I want to thank Abram and Johnsy for being our live stream producers. I got a picture of them I'm going to show some other time, but I didn't give them a chance to suck their tummies in.
Oh, you caught a candid shot of them.
A candid shot, that's right. Anyway, here to talk about gardening. I know it's not on a lot of people's minds right now because there's not a whole lot that you can plant or that you ought to plant, but look what I brought, a sack of bulbs. Look at this, a sack of bulbs. They're on sale right now. They're daffodil bulbs. These are all mixed daffodils, and and they're pretty and all, but some of these are not the type bulbs, Java. Some of these are not the type of bulbs that bloom year after year after year after year. They do up north, just like tulips. But here in the deep south, a lot of tulips don't do well because they need a longer, cooler spell to set their flower buds in the spring after they get through blooming. So the ones that do best for us are what we think of as early bloomers. They bloom late December, January, February, and March. And then they have time for their leaves to make next year's flower buds before it gets so hot and they die down. But anyway, these things are inexpensive right now. You can stick them in pots. What I'm going to do, I got 2 bags of these. I'm going to walk around the neighborhood at night with a stick. I'm just going to plant them here and there.
Now I see why you got a naughty elf hat.
Yeah. It's guerrilla gardening. Everywhere there's a telephone pole, there's an opportunity to plant maybe 3 little daffodils. And it's just a little happy, and I won't be here when they bloom. I'm going to be overseas, but I'll be back in time to get the reaction from folks. But anyway, it's perfectly okay to plant daffodil bulbs now. You can plant them anytime this month. So if you find some on sale, go for it. What I would do is put them in a pot because a lot of the bulk daffodils, whether they're sold by the dozens, a lot of them are fairly inexpensive. They don't really do that well more than for 1 or maybe 2 years. So what I do is I just cram them in a pot and cover some mulch, maybe stick a pansy in the pot, and then let them do their own thing. They will absolutely bloom the first year. But by keeping them in a pot, next spring when they get through blooming, I just treat them like tulips. I just pull them up, toss them in the compost. Hate to be that way, but it's sort of like a marigold or a zinnia or a tomato or pepper. Don't expect it to live forever. But anyway, that's one of the things I've been doing this past week is getting daffodils in the ground. And also I've been go around the neighborhood, Java, taking a look at people's holiday decorations. Are y'all going to doll up the yard?
Yeah, we're hopefully we can get a little break in this rain. We put the tree up last night, and we're going to do the outside this weekend.
What y'all going to do?
Well, we usually kind of do the pathway, like put some lights down and kind of wrap a few of the trees near the front of the house, and we got like some blow up ornaments that we put out and stuff. So.
Well, let me show you a couple of my ideas. Picture number 4 is something that's done in my neighborhood. It's a tasty tree. It's a little maple tree that's been tastefully done with the lights going up the limbs and all. It looks so pretty and holiday and all, and that's great, but I'm not able to do that. So let's look at picture number 5. Here's what I do. I got a bottle tree. And I put some red lights on it just because the blue bottle, red lights, and then I strung some green lights back behind it. I've got a little part of my fence made out of corrugated tin, and it really lights up. I mean, when that thing comes on, the neighbors all slam their blinds shut. It's great. So,
it's festive, though. It's festive.
It is festive, but what they really don't like is let's look at the next picture. Picture number 6. I've got a little bush made out of tires. I stack up tires, big one. I graduated from big to small like a Christmas tree. I spray painted it, and I put a hubcap on the top, put Christmas lights, and I think it's a very festive Christmas tree made out of tires, painted green.
The first picture of the nice and neat maple tree was elegant. What you showed with the bottle tree was festive, and this tire tree with the rim at the top is unique.
Well, it's what I call the good, the bad, and the unbelievable.
There you go.
Well, that's the way it is with yard art. I've been to Versailles. I've seen 8-foot naked goddess statues. I've done a book on scarecrows, which are like homemade statues. And then I've done some really weird creature-looking things, So you can do any style, pick any type of garden ornament. Even how you prune your shrubs can be done neat, classical, or it could be kind of wild, or you could do topiary. So the nice part about gardening is it's a place where you can, at least in part of your garden, get away with expressing yourself. And the neighbors may or may not like it, but I'm sorry. I live in a little village called Fondren, and we're very egalitarian. And
Fondren's funky like that.
Yeah, Fondren. Matter of fact, keep Fondren funky. I coined that term. I ripped off the Keep Austin Weird thing, call it Keep Fondren Funky, and I'm doing my best. So anyway, one of the things, I always talk about pub talk, Java, things that we talk about at pubs that people don't expect us. It's not just all sports. We never talk politics, never talk religion, we never talk about any of that kind of stuff, but we talk about interesting stuff. And this past week, I was chatting with a fella who is building new homes in Rolling Fork. A couple of, 3 years ago, had that really bad
big tornado, yeah.
Well, they're rebuilding homes, and he's doing the landscaping for them. And they don't have much of a budget. So I told him when I used to landscape for Habitat for Humanity, we had a strict budget of $200, $200. Well, the garden club ladies, bless their hearts, they put little gumdrops across the front of the house, which is what I call putting parsley around a cooked pig, But anyway, they had a limited budget, but not much expectation the homeowner is going to take care of the plants because not everybody's a gardener. But anyway, what I did was I came up with an idea. Because a lot of those original plants, the little gumdrops, within 5-6 years, they're gone. They're dead. They got hit with a mower or whatever. What I did was I started with the assumption, what if you could only have one plant for your whole landscape by law? One plant. What would it be? Where would it be? And what would it be? And we talked about it. We kicked around, and we decided, well, people would like a shade tree. They like to sit out on their porch, or they like to have an accent, something by the porch where you can sit on the front porch, as we do in the South, and talk about everybody walking by without feeling like you're just out there. You want to sort of not be hidden, but feel like there's something between you and the street, okay? And so we came up with this idea of a small tree that looks good all the time, that gives a little shade. You can see through it if you're on the porch, but it just does a little accent. And then we said, okay, we could do that for $30, $40, a really nice looking little tree. Well, then what? Okay, let's put something at the corners of the house that doesn't look like a cracker box sitting out in a cotton field. I'm from the Delta. You put a house out there, it looks like a cracker box sitting in the middle of a field. So we put something at the corner to kind of tie it down. And then we started putting little accents in it. In other words, we started with an accent that could give a little privacy, a little shade, something at the corners, and then we filled in with the rest until we used up our $200. So it's just a start with important considerations and low maintenance.
I like that shade tree. I guess it just depended on whatever was available at the time.
Yeah, well, you know,
to determine what type of shade tree it was.
Yeah, I'm from the Delta. You know, you got to have some shade, but it's a psychological thing. You know, you sit on your front porch because that's the kind of people we are. You know, we're social. And you want to feel like that, you know, you don't say, hey, but if you want to hide, you can just fold your arms and act like you're not there. They see you there, but you don't have to. If you got something between you and them, you can act like you didn't see them.
That's like at my grandmother's house. There was a big magnolia, and it did cover a portion of the porch. So if you were sitting on the...
You could scoot your chair down.
Yeah, if you were sitting on the right side of the porch, you could be hidden until you wanted to pop out and, and say, hey, while people walking on the sidewalk.
Lordy, there she comes. Scoot the chairs down the
Yeah, back up so she can't see us.
Hey, I got plenty of stuff we could talk about nonstop, but let's talk with Jim, who's calling from Jackson. Jim, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Felder. Jim Rosenblatt here.
Howdy.
On this very humid day, I asked this question: do plants have the ability to derive water from the air, or do they have to get it through a root system?
Oh, that is a great question, and it's actually a little of both. You know, most plants that have roots, they need the roots to get not only moisture but nutrients and stuff like that. But there's a lot of plants that live in thin air, like Spanish moss and bromeliads, Christmas cactus. They grow in trees and all, and they don't, some of them absorb it through their leaves or at the base of the leaves, but there's actually, and this is kind of weird, but on the bottom of leaves are what they call, they're like sweat glands. They're little holes in the bottom of leaves that's called stomata. I wish I was making this stomates. The stomata are little holes, and depending on the temperature and humidity, they open or close a little bit, and they regulate gases and moisture going in and out. That's why you can use liquid fertilizer on leaves, and it's absorbed in the leaves. It gets in through those little holes on the bottom called stomates. So they use it to, even trees and shrubs regulate their temperatures, their moisture, by opening and closing little sort of like sweat glands or vents on the bottom of the leaves, and they can absorb water that way. Great question, though.
Well, they wouldn't have any trouble getting their moisture today.
No, I mean, it's so humid out there, you can lick it right now. You have to use your windshield wipers, and it's not even raining. That's how thick it's sort of misty out there. By the way, it's very typical English weather. This is the typical spring day in England. Not too cold, rainy, dreary, overcast. We wish we had a camellia.
Not a spring day.
Yeah, no, spring day. Summertime, it gets hot. It gets up to like 80 degrees.
You know, I was in school up in Ithaca, New York, and sometimes we would go 3 or 4 months without ever seeing the sunshine. And it had an impact on people's emotional well-being.
Yeah, and that's what they came up with this thing called seasonal affective disorder, the blues, the winter blues, or the winter blahs, as I call it. And by the way, I've been to Ithaca. Up in the Finger Lake District, it do get some snow.
Oh, we got some snow up there, all right.
Well, Ithaca is where Cornell University is located, but also they actually have bottle trees. Jim, I have a picture of a garden in Ithaca, New York, just outside Ithaca, that has several bottle trees. And think about this, bottle trees are not just ornaments, they're not just accessories, not just glass on a tree. what they are is a way to bring color into a dreary world. You know, you could put colorful glass bottles in your kitchen window, and that little bit of color will keep you from getting it keeps your endorphins going. It keeps you from getting the winter blues. A little bit of color, whether it's glass bottles in your kitchen window or a bottle tree or Christmas lights left up after Christmas, anything we do like that, keep you less. It'll keep you, if not cheery, at least not so uncheery.
Well, I really like your book on bottle trees, and you know, at this time of the year, that would make a great Christmas gift for someone.
It would. I had a lot of fun with that. It was a little coffee table thing, but at the same time, I have pictures of hundreds of bottle trees from literally all over the world for free on my blog, felderrushing.blog. Go to felderrushing.blog, and it's got a little thing called bottle trees, and I've got a thing on the history of bottle trees. I've got a thing about the 20 different bottle trees in my garden, pictures of really interesting glass garden ornaments from Dale Chihuly all the way to Andrew Young and Jackson. But anyway, you go to felderrushing.blog, and you can see all this and read all the stuff in the book without buying it.
But it's still nice to have that book for your coffee table.
I appreciate that, Jim. Thank you so much, man.
Take care, Felder.
All righty. Speaking of...
Well, before we go on, I do have to, you mentioned seasonal, what did you say?
Seasonal affective disorder.
And this week, Dr. Buttress on Relatively Speaking, Southern Remedy Relatively Speaking, that was her topic for today. So if you are feeling the seasonal affective blues, then you can listen to the podcast and, get some tips.
Did she mention bottle trees?
Well, I don't know if she mentioned bottle trees. But also I was going to say, too, about bottle trees. I remember when I went to the Museum of African American History.
Yeah.
And there was a Stephanie Dwyer bottle tree in the museum.
I have one of her trees, the bottles on my truck, the sconce made by Stephanie Dwyer, and I've got a chandelier with bottles on it, lights done by Stephanie Dwyer. So anyway, it's been kind of, we could talk about ornaments. I've got a little thing about that I've been doing some natural ornaments, but I also have a cheesy tune.
Yeah, I think it's about that time because I looked at the cheesy tune and
it's not exactly appropriate for right now, but the village that I live in England in the winter is snowing there right now.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm thinking, let's get a little Dr. John and Leon Redbone doing a little Frosty the Snowman. If you haven't listened to Frosty the Snowman in a while, go online and check it out. Frosty the Snowman is a good song, but if you get the one done by Leon, I just forgot his name again. I just said it.
You just said Leon Redbone.
Leon Redbone. It's like he's singing it with marbles in his mouth. Anyway, I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing, Java Chapman, the folks here at MPB. We appreciate you tuning in. We do have some phone lines wide open, so if you give us a call, we're just going to do a couple of minutes of cheesy tune and announcements, and we'll be right back here on Mississippi Public Broadcasting.
The Measuring Show.
Since 1970, MPB has been enriching the lives of Mississippians.
Everything we do gives us the chance to grow and learn.
With your support, we are always there whenever and wherever you need us. Together through the years, together in the future. Please consider making a donation at mpbfoundation.org. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Everlasting, the Legacy Podcast, is a brand new companion podcast to the MPB documentary Everlasting, the life and legacy of Medgar Evers. Join me, Rita Brent, as we dive deeper into the story with exclusive interviews and conversations about the enduring legacy of Medgar Evers. Everlasting, the Legacy Podcast, available on the MPB app or wherever you get your podcasts, with new episodes every other week. MPB, your stories, our mission.
Together through the years, together in the future. MPB, your stories, our mission.
All righty, folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. The phones are strangely quiet today, and I know some folks are listening. And if you want to give us a call, this is a chance because nobody's in front of you. Toll-free 1-877-MPB-RING.
You know what I think it is, Felder? They don't know which questions to ask.
Oh, what?
Because it's, it's not a lot to do right now. It's only a certain number of plants you can put out, and
yeah, but there's, right now the camellias, Sasanqua camellias are blooming. Some of the japonicas with the bigger flowers might be blooming. But also I hear reports of early paperwhite narcissus blooming. They're the earliest bloomer. I've seen them for Thanksgiving. I haven't seen it. Mine aren't blooming yet. But, we can have color literally every week of the year. This is the great time of year to go around and look. Most of the garden centers are out of their, the summer plants are gone, but they've got pansies, they've got Dusty Miller. You can take a pot and just fill it with some potting soil, stick 1 or 2 Dusty Millers, 1 or 2 pansies, stick a kale in there or a snapdragon, and you got something that looks good all winter long. And I've got speaking of ornaments, I want to talk about that in a second, but let's go up to I'm not sure, this is in Tennessee, is it Gadsden? Lewis, where are you from?
Gadsden, Tennessee.
Gadsden, Tennessee. I know Gadsden, Alabama. Is it on the way?
It's near Jackson.
Okay, good. Well, you probably know my friend Carol Reese there from the there. Have you ever been to the experiment station there in Jackson?
Oh yeah. She helped. I planted a bunch of blueberries years ago, and she helped me with that. She was a real asset for our community and for that station.
What you got going on today?
I love bald cypress trees, and I want to try and cultivate some from seed.
Yeah.
And I've got the seed. I just need to know how you would go about doing that.
That's a really good question. And because they grow further south down in Florida, we know that their seeds don't need cold treatment. But usually they need extra moisture. You see cypress trees, we think of them as being along swamps and moisture and the edge of lakes and all. That's just because that's where the seeds sprout. And I've grown cypress literally all my life. It's one of my top 3 go-to trees. Strongly recommended for any kind of landscape. But I've never grown from seed. I know they do because you can buy seedlings. I would have to look that one up. And right now our internet is down here, so I can't look it up while we talk. But if you go online, just do a thing on germinating bald cypress seed. I mentioned bald cypress because a lot of other plants are called cypress that are really not. But anyway, it's one of those. I don't know. It's a good question. Don't know.
Also, would you give me a quick primer, and then I'll hang up on trimming back my fig bushes because they've lost all their leaves. They're dormant. And I just want to make sure I do it right.
Yeah. And first of all, let me also mention this. There's 2 main kind of cypress trees that we use in the southern landscape. The regular bald cypress, which everybody knows about. I think it's one of them was elegant tree, straight, doesn't break up in ice storms, grows in any kind of soil, even the worst heavy clay. But there's one called pond cypress, P-O-N-D cypress. It's a little bit airier, featherier, and it doesn't have the cypress knees. I like cypress knees, but if you're concerned about the knees popping up everywhere, the bald cypress has knees. The pond cypress, which looks very much like it, does not. Anyway, just want to throw that out. As far as pruning your figs, here's the thing. Figs produce what grows in the current season, as long as that grows off of last year's growth. Okay, so follow me on this. I'm gonna prune my figs usually in the wintertime. You follow from the tip where it stopped growing this fall back to where it started growing back in the spring, and leave some of that. You know, if you can find the little leaf joint, as long as you leave 2 or 3 or 4 leaf joints, in other words, just a few inches of this year's growth, what sprouts off of that will bloom. You can cut it to the ground, it'll come back, it just won't have fruit. But as long as you leave some parts of this year's growth, it does fine. So I go back, I cut mine back to all the stuff that grew this year. Sometimes they're 3 or 4 feet long. I cut them back to 5 or 6, 8 inches long. And then that keeps them nice and compact. It branches out. It has more branches, more figs on a more compact plant. So main thing is leave some of this year's growth when you prune them. I hope that helps. Now let's slide over to Brandon. Karen, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
I want to know if it damages a huge pine tree to have a bluebird house nailed to it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. A little nail hole ain't squat to a tree. You can put, woodpeckers do a lot worse than that. But no, as long as you don't cut it all the way around the tree, you can put as many nails as you want to, and it'll just heal right on it. So there's a certain direction bluebird house is supposed to face. I can't remember, but they need open space to swoop into and out of the birdhouse. I don't remember the details.
We'd had real good luck. We had one up on the tree, and it fell off, and there's been a little disagreement. My husband is afraid that it'll damage the tree if we put another one back up, but I'm going to. I've already got the birdhouse.
It absolutely does not hurt to put a nail or a bolt or anything like that in a tree, because that makes a really small little wound. It's all the way around the tree that you cause problems. No problem at all putting nails in a tree.
All right. Thank you so much.
All righty. Java. She asked me something I knew. The first one, I didn't know.
What?
The second one, I made a guess. Third one, I knew that one. Part of the pun, I nailed that one.
Well, let's see what John from Pearl got for you.
Okay, John, bring it on. What's going on in Pearl today? You staying warm?
Hey, Felder.
Howdy.
Oh, yeah. I was just, you said nobody was calling, and I said, oh, my God, I'm fixing to call and tell him. I called you a couple of years ago about my oak tree, about moving it from my sewer line, and I was just going to give you an update.
Yeah.
I never did it, but I wanted to tell you that I absolutely love your show. I love listening to your show, and just want to say that. But, yeah, I have an oak tree I planted a couple of years ago, and it's probably about 7 years old now, and it's about 10 feet from a sewer line.
Yeah.
And I never moved it, but I just figured since nobody was calling, I'd tell you how much I enjoy the show.
Well, let me ask you this. I probably missed it. Is your sewer line fairly new? Is it a PVC line, or is it old
It is
tiles?
a PVC line.
The roots should not be a problem. They really shouldn't. But anyway, thanks I appreciate you supporting our program. Thank you.
You bet. Have a good day.
Thank you. Yeah, that was all right, John. Before we get to the next call, let me show you something. If we're at home here, this next picture that I lost my idea where the pictures are. Anyway, whatever the next picture is, a gumdrop tree. See if they can find that.
I think they may be able to find it. They got to eyeball it.
There we go, John. See, this is a gumdrop tree, Java. I was raised with them. I had them all my life. This little thorn tree that grows out in people's yards, and it's one that I do, and it's just a holiday thing. Here's the deal: we have one that we made with my mother. She's been dead for like 20 years. We still, those gumdrops are like little diamonds.
No, I was going to say they hard as bricks.
But anyway, let's go to a picture of you, because I got you something. Let's turn the camera on Java there.
Oh yeah.
But not on that, but I want to show off your sweater. That's got to be one of the ugliest Christmas sweaters I've ever seen.
Oh, let me see if I can get a nice little shot.
Keep in mind, ugly sweater is a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed, like when you told me, you was like, that is a very ugly sweater. And what did I say?
Thank you. That's right. Anyway, hold up what I brought you.
Oh yeah, you gave me all the supplies.
It is a starter kit for a gumdrop tree.
For a gumdrop tree. So
Yeah.
if the gumdrops make it home, me and the kids will do this.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a little oddball thing, a little fun thing to do on the weekend. And I've got some other stuff, but let's talk with Scott. He's been hanging on from Hattiesburg. Scott, how are you today?
Morning, Felder. Java. Happy holidays to you guys.
What's up?
Just sitting down here in Hattiesburg. I'm thinking better call Felder and give him a little liven him up a little bit. I'm gonna talk something you love to talk about. That's trees.
Okay.
My question. I've got a couple of questions. I guess the first one is pine beetles. I had two towering, probably 60-foot pine trees. One had pine beetles to the max, and the other one they didn't take it out, and they're saying it may not be affected, or it might not have been affected enough. It might have been able to fight them off. So
yeah.
Not guaranteed that if you have one side by side that you're both going to die. Is that right?
Yeah, pine beetles are about like mosquitoes. They're everywhere. They're always flying out there. They're common as they can be. They're the size of a grain of rice, little things. And they hit pine trees all the time. But if a healthy tree will push it out with the normal sap flow. They've been hit all the time. Just like we are always exposed to cold germs and always get a cold. But if a tree is weak, it's been drouthy, anything that's got root damage, anything that weakens a tree, it has less of a sap flow, pine beetles get in it. So this idea of cutting down a tree that's got pine beetles to get rid of it, you got pine beetles anyway. If the trees are healthy, they can usually fend off the beetles. But we had such a serious drought all over Mississippi. Everywhere I go, Scott, I'm seeing whole stands of pine trees that are just dead as a doorknob, partly from the drought and partly because the pine beetles got an upper hand taking advantage of the drought. So anyway, to answer your question, a tree can have a lot of pine beetles in it, not affect the one next to it if the tree is healthy.
Now, the drought that you're talking about, we had seemed like we had a bounce back because of such an extremely wet May and June compared to what they normally are this past year. And I've seen a lot of different results from that. And I've heard people calling the show. And the symptoms are everywhere, as you see, from the changes from one year to the next.
Yeah.
But the main tree question I had for you was, why is there not more of a crusade against the Chinese tallow that's so invasive, that's taken over so many forests and wooded areas? Why do we not have more defined resistance to that, taking those out before they, before one becomes 1,000 just in a short number of years?
Well, and this is a sociological thing. It's not about the trees. We know that kudzu is bad, but it's up to the individual farmers to get rid of the kudzu. And a lot of the kudzu is on state-owned land along right-of-ways and stuff like that, and nobody's responsible for it, so they don't do it. As far as out in the woods, there's no way to keep it, because those birds drop those seeds everywhere. They eat the little popcorn-looking berries. They drop the seeds everywhere, and you have to stay on top of it all the time. And it's either people don't have time, or they don't have the resources, or whatever. But it's real easy for privet, tallow trees, a few other plants like that to get completely out of hand and overwhelm the resources taking them out. You can't sell them. You can't buy them any place, so that's a start. But just like with the Bradford pears, you can buy Bradford pears all the time, but they're just as invasive as the Chinese tallow, and they cause a lot of problems. But also, their flowers are great for pollinators. Their fruit are good for wildlife. So there's some people saying, let's just go with that flow. Unless you're a forester and it's causing problems or it's causing an economic problem. Some people are saying, literally scientists are saying that the invasive plants might be a little bit overblown, and there's good, strong arguments on both sides. So if it's an economic problem causing problems in your yard or your farm or your forest, you have to take care of it yourself. There's not a public way to get rid of them. I know it sounds like I'm talking about both sides of the mouth here, because there are serious environmental scientists saying, let them go. It's the way things are going. And they're not just giving up. They're saying they have benefits too. Pollinators, birds, wilds, all like that. So anyway, it's a good question. There's not an easy answer because they're so prolific. It's an economic or it's a time-consuming. It's difficult to get rid of them.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, appreciate your call. That's a third rail issue, invasive plants. I'm thinking, so is St. Augustine. Look at how much St. Augustine is, all around town. And I don't want to get into that. But let's slide up to Hamilton, Alabama. Robert, I got a speeding ticket in Hamilton one time. Just want to let you know.
Yeah, that could happen around here. Morning, fellas. How are y'all?
Good. What's up?
I had a quick question. I moved up here from Florida, actually, not too far from St. Augustine, actually. And but I noticed there's these little, they look like carrot things growing out of the ground. And then it's a type of fungus. And I looked it up. I think it was called, like, devil dipstick. But I was just curious if you knew anything about it. I'd never seen it before. But it's growing all of one side of my yard near my house.
Okay, now, break it up a little bit. These look like little fingers sticking up out of the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's go by a whole bunch of names. And one of them is called stinkhorn. It's a fungus. It's a harmless fungus. It doesn't hurt anything, and it actually makes like a little egg in the ground. And when the weather's right, it sends up its version of a flower, which is that stinkhorn you see. And they smell really, really bad because they attract flies and beetles to pollinate it. So it attracts flies to pollinate it by its bad smell. Anyway, they sprout up just like the fairy rings in people's lawns when the weather's right, usually cool and moist and warm days, cool, moist, nice, warm days. We see a whole lot of different fungi send up their version of flowers right now. So anyway, it's a fairly common fungus. Most people don't notice it. If you look at it up close, it will literally gross you out. If you smell it, it will, yeah. It's called stinkhorn for a reason. But anyway, they're harmless, and they're seasonal.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Okay, appreciate it. Before we go to this next call, Jive, I want to throw out there, let's throw up a handful of pictures here because we're talking about ornaments. Picture number 8 that I've got. Folks, if you're listening online, anytime during the week, you go to YouTube, and in the search box, do Gestalt Gardener or Mississippi Public Broadcasting, and it'll take you to all of these things. All of our programs are live stream, but you can see these pictures. But this is a collection of antique Christmas tree ornaments from when I was a kid. This is back in the day, Java, when they were handcrafted. Aren't those things beautiful?
Oh yeah, no, those are the ones you have to be careful because when they hit the floor,
they shatter.
That's it.
You'll never find all the pieces,
that's
but they're all hand painted. But let's look at picture number 9. Here's one that I did myself. This is a little Christmas tree ornament I made with a sweet gum ball, a little piece of grapevine wreath, and a lichen in a glue gun.
That looks like $3.99 at Michael's.
Yeah, okay. I got 2 more pictures. Picture number 10, and just give you an idea of some of the ornaments that I've made from the yard. The gourd that's got little wings on it, I call that my Gordian angel. But look at all the magnolia leaves, the sweet gum balls that take little twigs and make Christmas trees. You take a sweet gum ball and stick toothpicks in it. I use berries. There's a Santa Claus painted on an okra. These are things that all came from the yard. And it's a fun thing to do whether you got kids or not on the weekend. Then the last picture number 11, this is my favorite. This is what you do with sweet gum balls. You take sweet gum balls, you stick toothpicks in all the holes, you dribble a little bit of white glue, and then you sprinkle a little glitter on it.
Yeah, that's an activity, and I know the okra pod. You could paint those whatever kind of color, or put Santa Claus on them, or make it a Christmas tree.
The angels, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, here's a little thing. It's not so funny, but my inexperience with a glue gun. Okay, I got a little cheap glue gun from Hobby Lobby, right? And I was gluing stuff on there, and I got a little dab of the hot molten glue on my finger. So,
as one will do.
Yeah, but as one did, I immediately put it in my mouth because it was hot, okay? And it stuck to my prochilion.
Felder.
You know what a prochilion is?
I kind of don't want to know.
It's that little, a lot of people, right in the middle of their top lip, they got a little bump right in the very middle. That's called a prochilion. It's a little tiny fleshy bump right in the middle of your upper lip. Anyway, my finger and the glue stuck to that. And I pulled it off, and I couldn't drink coffee for a week.
Oh!
I pulled my prochilion off with a glue gun.
Felder.
This is a medical thing. We need to save this, right?
Yeah, that's Southern Remedy. We have to see what we can do about that.
But anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff out in the yard. You can make little ornaments from magnolia leaves, a little white glue, and some glitter. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with stuff in the yard, and it's fun. It's interesting. It's a throwback to the back in the day, when we didn't have blow up Santa Clauses and reindeer and Grinches for the yard. So this is something you and your kids can do this weekend, Java.
Yeah, we're gonna get out.
Okay, the glue gun. Adult supervision doesn't help. Anyway, let's go to the Mobile and talk with Mikey. Mikey, how are you today?
I'm so sorry that I have to say this, but, I have to be honest here. I was in a band, marching band, 275 people, man. That's a big marching band.
Yeah.
Went to a Saints game, and you know what a snap to is, right?
Oh yeah. I was in a military band.
Well, I know. You were in a military bands are the best in the world.
So anyway, let's.
We did the snap to. I was a French horn player, and you don't move after you do the snap to, which means that you stand in place.
Yeah.
And my mouthpiece froze to my upper lip.
Okay, I'm laughing with you, not at you.
That's why I'm so gorgeous right now. Okay, but anyway, I called about.
Okay, we're running out of time. We're running out of time, so make it quick.
Windowsill gardening, and I've only got one thing to offer, and I'm hoping that you will have something to add to it. Green onions.
Yeah.
In bottles.
Yeah.
If you don't have double windows, which are the best, or cuttings, green onions and plant cuttings like the
mint. You can do mint. You can do basil. You can do the green onions all in a table right in your kitchen window on the inside. So anyway, that's a great tip. I didn't mention that. It's open for new ideas and stuff to do this weekend.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mikey. We're just coming up at the end of the show. Sorry about that.
And Suzanne from Summerall,
yeah,
sorry.
Suzanne, sorry. We have to get with you on the next go round.
Call back. Or else, go to Mississippi Gardening on Facebook.
There you go.
And become a member. We got 63,000 members of Mississippi Gardening. It's just people chatting about gardening. We make sure everybody's nice. So anyway, appreciate that. Java, you got your little starter gumdrop tree kit there for the kids?
Yeah, it's, like I said, we put our Christmas tree out and a couple of decorations in the house, and this is going to go right with everything, and then we're going to try to do the outside this weekend as well.
Take the girls for a walk, see if you can find some sweet gum balls, some seed pods, anything like that. And just a little handcraft time. This is the kind of thing, if you don't teach them how to do this stuff, they're not going to teach their kids how to do this stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I got you this kale, two kind of kales for you in Crystal's garden. Time to plant daffodils. There's so much stuff to do. But if you play with a glue gun, don't stick the hot glue on your lip. That's the takeaway today. I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing, Java Chapman, and all the folks here at MPB, Abram and Abram Nanny, John C. I'm saying John C. in our live stream. And folks, I hope you have a safe weekend. There's a lot of stuff going on. People are starting to get all geared up at daylight savings time, so you got to be careful out there. But if you get a chance, go to a garden center, get your pot, put some pansies, snapdragons, or daffodil bulbs, and if you get a chance, walk around the neighborhood, stick some bulbs here and there. We're trying to make sure our whole neighborhood does what the rest of us do, and that's get dirty. See y'all next week.